Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
Welcome to the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News. As we get you set for the latest news, insight, and analysis as game time approaches, the BNN pregame show is presented by Lithia Ford of Boise. Check out LithiaFordBoise.com to view the full inventory of vehicles, or check them out at 8853 West Fairview in Boise. Now, let's head out and join BJ Rains for the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News.
And in Boise State's case, it's going to be make a bunch of changes because it was one of the poorest offensive performances that I've seen. 11 points in the first half, 42 points total in the game. They played defense well enough to hang in the game. You'd think that you'd get blown out if you were only scoring 42, but they only gave up 54. So nice on the defensive end, adjustments for the offense.
All right, I usually have some mistake every show, and for the first 30 seconds we were muted, so I apologize for that. It's better that I'm muted and not Abe, so I apologize for that, but we heard Abe's answer. We just couldn't hear my talking, which how it is. But Abe, what did you make of that first game? Obviously disappointing. A lot of fans are disappointed with the loss to Charlotte. Here they are, up by 4 with 1 minute and 51 seconds left. So they might be in the title game here. But 11 points in the first half, the lowest, second lowest point total in program history and a half. I mean, you were sitting right next to me during the game. What did you make of that game against Charlotte?
Not a lot. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot to talk about with only 4 made field goals, 11 points total. But Coach Rice mentioned it quite a bit on our post game in the interview before we go on, before the broadcast starts on the radio, is that he was disappointed that the lack of making shots really broke down the rest of the team, the rest of what they do. Their defense suffered, their transition suffered. They had 11 turnovers in the first half. So it's hard to play a good game when making or missing a shot dictates the rest of the game that you have.
Now we've seen, Leon told us this was going to be a good shooting team, and yet they're shooting 22% from 3. You have Tyson and Marcus Shaver Jr. combined 3 of 22 from 3. Is it just a couple rough games? Is it shot selection? Are you concerned at all with the outside shooting? And should they be trying to get it inside more? Or what do you make of the lack of three-point shooting so far?
Well, you have to be concerned about it, right? I mean, that's part of college basketball now is shooting a bunch of threes. And to be competitive, you have to shoot a good percentage. But what doesn't concern me is that they're taking good shots. Of course, there were some bad shots against Charlotte, but you look at their 3 games that they've had, they're running their offense. They're making the right pass. They're making the right decisions, and the shots just aren't going down. They played some pretty good offense in that second half. Degenhardt had 3 great looks from behind the arc, and he went 0 for 3. You can't ask for much more if you run your offense to give your shooters a shot and have them be open. sometimes they just don't fall.
You're going to be hearing Abe coming up at the top of the hour on 670 KBOI on the broadcast as the color analyst tonight against Loyola-Chicago. What do you make of Chibuzo Abo? Obviously a tough start for him. 3 games in, he still has more fouls than points. It's 12-11 now. What do you make of him? He's obviously was excited coming over from Texas Tech. He wanted to make a big impact, but to this point, he's yet to really do that.
Yeah, and what I see is a great athlete and a great basketball player that has a lot going on in his mind when he's out there. That it looks like he's thinking about everything he's doing. The defensive stance doesn't look natural. The defensive rotations don't look natural. So I really think that he's going to become a very good player for the Broncos, but it might take a few games because to me it just looks like he's overthinking everything he's doing out there.
Now we're going to have an interview with Leon. I know you have an interview with Leon coming up on your pregame show. He alluded potentially some shaking things up a little bit, some changes. One spot you would think maybe is an option is at the 5 spot. 17 minutes last night from Lucas Milner and Mo Silla, 0 points, 1 rebound combined. You're not going to win many games when your 5 spot has a goose egg. What do you make of what you're seeing from the 5 spot right now?
Well, they do a lot of rotating at the 5 spot. Degenhart played a lot of 5 against Washington State, and so I think it's one of their more versatile spots. They have some big guys, and they got some guys that aren't your typical big guys like a Degenhart who can play in that post. So he'll be throwing guys in and out to that 5 position, and he still hasn't quite found his rotation. That sometimes it takes a while. We've had seasons where he's had 8, 9 different starting lineups in the first 12 games, or we have last year where it's like, who's starting about 6 or 7 games in. That was about the starting lineup for the rest of the season.
What'd you make of Sada Nganga last night? I thought he was one of the few bright spots. He got in there. He scored on a nice move to the basket, had another nice drive where he got called for a weird offensive foul, but he had 3 rebounds. The second half, they pretty much just said, you know what, we're going to leave you out there. I thought if there weren't a lot of bright spots last night, but I thought getting him some quality minutes in the second half was one of them.
And I also think that Kobe Young got some good quality minutes as well. Very athletic player, can challenge shots at his height inside because of how well he can leap. But Nganga played well, a lot of minutes. You can tell that he's going to be a good player. He's got the handles for someone who's 6'10". He's got the body control in the paint where he can finish. So I think there's a big upside for Nganga, and getting those minutes, so I think it's pretty good for him.
What do you make of just when you're 1 and 2, things aren't going great? I mean, did you ever have any times when you played where coach would shake up the lineup at all, or the rotation, or do anything different in pregame, or what are you expecting tonight in terms of just looking for a little bit of different mojo? Because they've had 3 games, they've had 3 slow starts, and obviously they got to figure out some way to get things a little bit of a faster start.
Yeah, and all coaches know their team and what makes them tick, right? And that's what a good coach does, is your guys and how to motivate them. So it really depends on how coach connects with his players and how to get them out of the funk from last night. Sometimes it can be doing something different in pregame. Sometimes it can be something at the hotel to maybe get the players' minds off of the awful offensive game that they had. So there's a lot of ways that you can go about it. I'm sure Coach Rice has done some things to try and change the mindset and really get that game out of their heads, because an 11-point half and a 42-point performance, that sticks with you for a while.
Okay, we got 16.2 seconds left. We got Charlotte up by 3. So as soon as this game ends in 16 seconds, we'll get you the warm-ups as Boise State comes out here. But again, Charlotte looking for a trip to the championship. They beat Boise State last night. They're up 3 now with 16 seconds left. Final 2 things for you, Abe. What do you make of the matchup with Loyola-Chicago tonight?
Well, it's hard to scout a team with under 24 hours. Well, a little more than 24 hours preparation. And so Loyola-Chicago, they run a ton of sets, like 40, 45 sets. And that is a team that you need maybe a full week to scout if you're really going to challenge every one of those sets. So I think you're going to see the Broncos come out and just play very loose offensively and defensively, try and get some flow going. There was no flow against Charlotte up and down the court. So I think more in the prep on this one for Loyola, it was not about their set plays, but more about the Broncos and how they just need to play some solid defense and solid offense.
Hey, final thing. I mean, you think about when you came to this tournament, you knew you were playing Charlotte, then you were hoping to play Loyola-Chicago in the winner's bracket, and then you were hoping to get either A&M or Colorado in the final game. You wanted some quality games, to help the computer rankings, try to get some quality wins. It didn't happen the way you thought it would because you're in the loser's bracket, but you're still playing Loyola-Chicago, and you still got a chance against A&M or Colorado in the final game. I mean, this tournament, you win 2 games. You win tonight, you win Sunday. You leave basically what you accomplished. I mean, I know fans are disappointed. The team's disappointed 1 and 2, but you still have in these next 2 games, these next 48 hours to do what you want to do here.
Well, and you never know where those teams are going to end up. Everyone remembers 6 or 7 years ago, Loyola-Chicago came to Boise and got smoked by about 30. And then was that a quadrant 1 win at the end of the season?
I think
probably, because Loyola-Chicago made it to the Final Four. So you never know where the teams are going to end up. So whether or not you get first or third or fifth in one of these early season tournaments, to get 2 out of the 3 wins can be big later on in the season, because you never know what those teams that you beat are going to end up doing.
Abe, we appreciate it. In about 10 minutes, we'll hear you over on the broadcast, 670 KBY. Yep. You'll have the exclusive call on the radio, and you guys will have the pregame for half an hour, the game, the postgame with Coach Rice, everybody. As always, we appreciate your time, and happy to have you helping us out here, Abe.
All right, thanks. Good to be with you.
Abe Jackson is helping us out. We're broadcasting from the Cutwater Canned Cocktail Studios. More than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium canned cocktails. Cutwater Canned Cocktails. Make sure you check them out. Rowpaint.com, our title sponsor as well. There's 12.7 seconds left. So as soon as this game ends, we'll show you the warm-ups. We'll show you the team out there, and we'll get you set for tip-off of the Boise State game here in 12.7 seconds. Charlotte is up by 3. Rowpaint.com, we appreciate them. Check them out if you're in the Twin Falls area. BNN Twin 23. That's right, BNN Twin 23 gets you 23% off your order. Lithia Ford of Boise. Check them out like we did. Go to lithiafordboise.com, find the vehicle you want, and then you can go test drive it and purchase it right there off the lot. So lithiafordboise.com, we appreciate them for sponsoring our pregame show. Idaho Central Credit Union as well, iccu.com. More than 500,000 Idahoans have made the switch to Idaho Central Credit Union, and you can as well at iccu.com. We are here for the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show. There is still about 12 seconds left in the game before us, so there are certain things that we cannot show yet, but we appreciate you for checking us out here on the pregame show. As soon as this game ends, we will show you Boise State warming up on the court. There is 7.6 seconds left. We've got R.J. Keene coming up live. You don't want to miss this. R.J. Keene is a character. He's a good dude. He's out for the season due to an injury, but he's going to come sit over and join us live here shortly as Boise State takes the court for warm-up. So if you have a question for R.J. Keene, make sure to get that in now. I apologize again for the first 30 seconds when we had no audio. I don't know what the problem was there. It wouldn't be a Bronco Nation News show if we didn't have some sort of problem starting off the show. But we're here at Myrtle Beach. Happy to be here, the only local media outlet that made the trip from Boise. So appreciate you for supporting us. Hopefully you're a subscriber. If not, hopefully you'll consider $70 for a year, $6.99 a month. If you don't feel like paying, hopefully you'll at least subscribe to YouTube. That's free. Just go to youtube.com/Bronco Nation News. That's the easiest way to watch our shows. And then you can comment. We cannot take Twitter comments. If you're watching on Twitter, switch over to YouTube or Facebook, because we cannot see your comments on Twitter. So the easiest ways are the YouTube chat. We do get the Facebook comments as well. So switch on over, subscribe there, and then you can see our broadcasts. Charlotte is playing Tulsa right now. And again, 7.6 seconds left. We cannot show you the court. That game is going on right now. It's 68-65. Charlotte is winning with 7.6 seconds left. As soon as this game goes final, then you're going to have Boise State getting ready to face the mighty Loyola-Chicago squad. We got Leon Rice. I had an exclusive interview with Leon Rice. Let's go ahead and play that now. Leon Rice, Boise State head coach, exclusive interview earlier today. This is a fresh interview from today, talking about this team and how they get them better. Let's hear from Coach Rice on the pregame show. When we get done with Coach Rice, we'll see the live warm-ups. We'll have R.J. Keene. We'll show you what's going on the floor. But this game's not over yet, so let's go ahead and show you Leon Rice, exclusive interview with BNN as we get you set for tip-off.
Well, you know, there's a lot to get better at, a lot to process. But, you know, we scheduled a tough schedule for these guys, and the tough schedule creates adversity, and that's what we're dealing with. And, you know, we've got a program that I got a bunch of guys in this program that are pretty tough, and we don't want to be fragile in the face of adversity. We want to be tough, and we want to confront it, and our issues are our issues until we solve them. And, you know, some of the same things are popping up a little bit, but we're going to keep tweaking things, keep looking at different things, keep figuring it out, and I got tough guys, and you know, we talk about our culture being unbreakable. Well, this is when you need it, and this is the adversity that makes you better, and that's why we scheduled this way.
You talked about before the season that you said this would be one of your better shooting teams. You're 22% from three through 3 games. I'm sure you're obviously expecting that to self-correct soon, but is it just a couple games, or is it shot selection, or what are you seeing in the shots?
It's always shot selection. That's the first thing to being a great shooter, is knowing how to get shots, knowing how to get good shots, and we're not doing that yet. And then we're not getting each other shots. We didn't make each other better at all in that game. It's almost like we started out the game great possessions, but we didn't score. And then we abandoned ship and didn't stick with our plan. And, Charlotte was struggling. I mean, it was two teams that were playing pretty good defense, but just, two teams that weren't scoring. And they stuck with their plan. We abandoned ship.
Your 5 guys last night, 17 points, had no points, or 17 minutes combined, no points, 1 rebound. I mean, how much do you need some production from that 5 spot?
Absolutely. You can't have goose eggs. You can't. And, that's something that we got to get better at, and that's something our guys got to get better at. And, it's going to take us continuing to work hard, continuing to have a tough. We need more of a resolve and a toughness about us, and that's what I want to see. That but the other side of the coin is that I looked out there one time and I had like 2 sophomores and 3 freshmen. I'm like, well, when you have that, and you want to pick up where you left off last year, but to be fair to these guys, there's guys that haven't played in Division I games, haven't started Division I games, and so there's a patience we want to have in the development, but there's an urgency too that we can control the things we can control, and that's how tough we are. That's how we know the plan. We stick to the plan, and we play together and make each other better, and that's what I want to see.
One other guy I know you have really high hopes for still is Buzo, obviously, and we're 3 games in, he still has more fouls than points. I mean, what have you yet to see from him, and how do you get him going?
Yeah, that's there's a lot of layers to what we have to get going, and guys figuring out their role, finding their role, and finding where their shots come from, and he doesn't understand that yet, and part of it's his teammates, part of it's on him, and that just comes with experience and getting more time to play, getting more time to watch film, getting more time to understand what we're trying to do.
You mentioned last night in terms of the rotation and who plays when and all that kind of stuff, you're figuring that out in games kind of on the fly. Do you feel like you're starting to have any better idea, and do you think some changes may be coming tonight?
Absolutely. I'm starting to have a way better idea. I mean, and when you got this many guys that have never been in a game and never been in our system and never been, there's just so many moving parts that I want to make it simpler for these guys. I want them to know what the rotation is, and they're starting to show me what it's going to be, and so that will always be a work in progress, but I feel like we're getting closer to figuring that out.
Final 2 things. Loyola-Chicago tonight obviously doesn't get any easier. All 4 favorites lost in the first round, so looks like what we thought we'd see on the winners bracket we're seeing on the losers side potentially. But what's the scouting report? What do you need to do against Loyola-Chicago?
Well, they got a great program, and they have a great culture, so they're going to bounce back. We're expecting to see their best tonight. They're not going to sit around and pout and throw in the towel. They're going to come with it tonight, and it's going to be 2 teams that I bet both teams play really, really hard tonight, and that's what they do. And so we're going to, we got our hands full tonight against a really good team, a top 70 team right now, and in the league they're in and the schedule they play, they could end up, top 50 team. So you gotta like I said, wash off yesterday. Yesterday's dead and gone. We got to come and compete our best that we can compete and rely on our principles and our fundamentals, because you're not going to, in one day, you're not going to be able to scout everything they do, everything they run, because they run a lot.
So, I mean, in the next 48 hours could be a big 48 hours for you guys. I mean, you still could have 2, 1 and 2 maybe is not where you want to be, but you have 2 quality games coming up regardless of who you play. You have 2 opportunities. I mean, you could leave this town in a couple of days feeling a lot different with a couple of wins here. What's this opportunity like you still have?
And that's the message that you have to get to the guys, because they're disappointed. And I got a team that, when I as I'm getting to know them better, I think they're pretty hard on themselves. I got to get them to be able to brush off the next play, brush off mistakes. We're not there yet, not even close that way. Where I think, you look at last year, boy, we were terrific at what, we could have the worst game and we'd win 42-37, the worst offensive game. And that could have been one of those deals last night. I mean, we could have played so bad offensively and not let it affect our defense that we would have had a chance last night. But, I think this team, we have to learn that. We have to be able to play through that stuff. So, we got a few more hours to get things right, and I think we're heading in the right direction. I think we'll come out and let the fur fly tonight.
Well, there he is, Coach Leon Rice. We appreciate his time. We got RJ Keene coming on live with us for a few minutes. RJ, I know you were excited for the season, man. Then the shoulder injury came. Give us the update, I guess, first on the rehab and how things are going for you.
Things are going good right now. We're kind of 3 weeks ahead in the rehab process. I mean, it's a 6-month recovery period with a torn labrum, but, I mean, it's going good. I mean, you can't really do much right now. I started shooting about a couple days ago. I mean, didn't expect a, double red shirt. It's probably the first time it's ever happened here. But, I mean, it's going good. Got to keep positive and just rooting on my guys. I mean, these are my brothers, so.
How'd you have the injury? I mean, I know you were expected to get out there and you were hoping to have a big impact this year. How did that happen, and how disappointing was that?
It was pretty disappointing. I mean, I did not expect to get hurt, especially coming into, I had big expectations into this year, but it happened got lit up by a screen. Lucas Milner hit me with the screen, and I was on the ground for at least 5 minutes, and then I couldn't lift up my arm for like a month, but I kept on playing because I really wanted to play this year. But it just got to the point where I couldn't shoot, and shooting is really important for me. So just had to go get an MRI. I got the MRI, and so it was fully torn, and then surgery is needed ASAP.
So you had the surgery. As you said, I saw you out there taking a few shots in one of the warm-up games. I think maybe Washington State, or maybe it was here the other night. But where are you at in the rehab, and obviously what is the timetable for you to get back to be in full strength?
So right now I'm in 7 weeks, and I think I still have 4 months left in the rehab, because I can't really get hit right now. If I get hit, it's just going to tear it back, and I don't want to risk any injury right now. And the key is to get on the court for next year and not this year. As much as I want to come back better and stronger. And we can rush it and come back late January, but that's just risking it. And right now our timetable is just to come back and get ready for 1st of May.
We see Boise State down there at the other end of the court in the black uniforms, Loyola-Chicago in the white uniforms. We are 26 minutes from tip-off here at the HTC Center in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Actually, we're in Conway, South Carolina, on the campus of Coastal Carolina. You see Boise State down at the other end. We'll be seated right across from Boise State's bench. We're visiting with RJ Keene here on the Lithia Florida Boise pregame show. BJ Rains with you, and obviously a tough one last night. I know there's not a lot you can do, obviously, on the court, but what's the mood of the team coming into this one? Or is it guys excited to kind of put that one behind them? Is the energy still high?
Yeah, energy's been high. I mean, dudes are hungry. We want to win this game really bad. I mean, we want to showcase that this is a top 70 net team, and we want to show that we're ready. I mean, this is a kind of a new team to play together. We got new transfers. You got new freshmen playing, and right now we're just getting the groove of things. I mean, we're really good, and we got to show that we can dominate, and I think this is a bounce-back spot for us, and this is a great testimony for us against Loyola, good team, and I think our dudes are ready. I mean, no one was talking during lunch. People were dialed in. And then all of a sudden the bus people are listening to music. We're getting ready. I think this is going to be a good game.
How much better is this team than we've seen in 3 games?
This team is like yesterday. It was. I mean, we played bad. Like, we know we played bad, but there's so many spots where just sitting on the bench and watching, like, wow, if we shot the ball there, if we didn't do this, like little things, if you take away, just starts. It's drastically like difference. I think we're way better than 1 and 2, and hopefully we can show it right in this game.
Guys like Tyson and Marcus, that we know are good three-point shooters. I mean, they're like 3 of 22 through 3 games. I mean, how much – I know it's just when you're a shooter and you're in a little bit of a shooting slump, obviously when it's to start the season, it's a little more magnified than just some random 3-game slump in, January. But obviously you've seen those guys in practice. I mean, I don't think you guys have any concern that Tyson and Marcus, if they're open tonight, you expect them to hit them all, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're trained to shoot the ball when they're open. They're great shooters. They're the top 2 shooters in the league, and I believe that. And we have all seen it in practice. We all seen it in games. You saw it last year. Things haven't changed with them. Their mindsets haven't changed. They're hungry. They have the same mindset they had last year. And I think going into this game, they're going to come out firing. I mean, if I'm Tyson, the only way to get out of a slump is just keep shooting the shots you want. You can't really force anything. I don't really consider him in a slump. Every shot he shot last game was back rim, back rim, back rim.
Which means what as a shooter? Just a little too long?
No, it doesn't mean anything. I think back rim you're online. You're just getting used to everything. It's a different ball. I'm not going to blame the ball, but I think Tyson and Shaver, they're really good players, and I think good players bounce back, and good players are not going to be in slumps long.
If you got a question, we got a few more minutes. So you're not in a huge hurry to get out of here, are you? We got a few more.
I got 25 minutes.
We got a few more minutes for RJ Keene. If you got a question or a thought for him, let us know. We'll throw it on the screen here. Jordan wants to know if you've got any good moves, dance moves lined up your sleeve for the sideline support this year. Seems like you guys were getting a lot of love from the camera crew last year on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little dance moves for me. I can't really move my left arm a lot, but also I don't really got that much groove to me. But I'll showcase some good dance moves in the future, maybe a couple a day. But Leon doesn't really like me, dancing too much on the bench. I'm more of like an energy guy, getting the guys.
But I heard sources said you were getting some credit today for being positive on the bench.
Oh yeah, I got a good shout out and film today about bringing the energy. Well, that's my job. I mean, what else can I do? I'm not going to bring negative energy. I mean, I love these dudes. I mean, I want to win bad just as much as they do. And bringing good energy to the bench is the least I can do, just helping these guys. I got voted bench captain today, so it's pretty nice.
Bench captain. How about that? I didn't realize that. So we're honored to have you gracing us with your presence here on during warmups. What can you tell us without giving too much away? But obviously, I don't think the Loyola-Chicago coaches are watching this at this point. But what was the main message about how to go against the Ramblers tonight?
Message is just play your game. I mean, our principles allow us to guard this team really well, and our game plan is pretty sharp going into this game. I mean, I don't want to speak too loud because the trainer's right here. You never know what's going to happen.
That dude's jacked, too.
Yeah, I know. Holy smokes. But our game plan is pretty similar to our game plan. Not yesterday. It's a little different than yesterday, but previously, like against Washington State, I'd say. We got dudes that want to play. And I think Shaver going to come out here instead of being a little timid like he was yesterday. I think he's going to come out here firing. And that's really good because he's going to be more of a player instead of like just labeled as a point guard. I've seen Shaver play long enough, and I know he's deadly. And I think today he's going to have a really good game.
One of the positives, if there were any last night, I thought was Sada and Ganga getting like a lot of minutes in the second half. I know you practiced a little bit against him before you got hurt. I know he got here late in the summer, but is Sada a guy you think that could have developed here into a key player for you guys?
Oh, for sure. I think Sada has the most potential on anyone on the team. I think he's a great player. He's just young. He's got to get used to everything. I mean, like he says, every time he does something, he says, English is my fifth language. And I think that is true to him. I think he's going to be a really good player in the future. And he just takes time for him. I mean, getting thrown in the fire this early is not good for him. I think Leon's doing the right thing and just showing him the process. And, I mean, if he keeps getting good minutes like he did last time, he's going to prove his way into the rotation. And then once you're in the rotation, you keep doing that, making the right play. And then he's going to showcase that he's really good.
We got about 20 minutes till tip-off. Again, Boise State, Loyola-Chicago coming up on ESPN+. This is the Lithia Florida Boise pregame show. BJ Rains, special guest RJ Keene. We might have to make this a regular thing. We're getting some good comments here. We got might need to make this more often. We got RJ say, okay, thanks to Coach Rice profusely for allowing this. We did have to ask a couple of times. They said keep up the energy on the bench. RJ, remind folks, how did you end up at Boise State? What other schools were you looking at? What was your recruitment like? And tell us about what the path was that led you to Boise State.
Yeah, so I was a COVID recruit, so I didn't really get to visit any campuses. I had like 31 offers, and I chose Boise State because of the coaching staff and the culture they had. And I just trusted it, and I'm still trusting it to this day. I mean, redshirting twice is not an easy thing to do. Didn't expect that to come in, but I mean, I was keyed in on Boise early, and I picked them over just a bunch of other Mountain West schools, mid-major schools that it's in the past. I mean, I'm focused on right now.
Who was number two? If it wasn't Boise State, who was it going to be, man?
It's tough to say. It's probably Utah State or Grand Canyon. Probably one of those.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you ever, when you go to Utah State or anything, does that ever pop in your mind? Like,
not really. It's a different coaching staff. It was Craig Smith that offered me. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've got a lot of people don't know this, but you've got a very strong athletic background in your family as well, right? Your sister's a volleyball player at Baylor. I think your younger brother is a pretty good hooper as well. Did your parents play at all? Or I know you got a big time, your family's real involved in athletics.
Yeah, my dad was a McDonald American at Illinois. My brother's currently playing basketball right now at high school, Corey Lutheran sophomore. He's actually playing a game right now. My sister's a volleyball player at Baylor, and she plays the number one team in Texas tomorrow, and she plays a lot of minutes over there, or playing time. I don't know how you call it in volleyball. But then my mom was like a JUCO athlete, so all 5 people in my family are athletes, and then my grandpa played basketball at LSU. Got great-grandpa play for the Lions. Uncle's playing D1. It's Keene family runs deep in the Division I genes.
Now, we have a connection because your family, at least some of your family's from the St. Louis area, right?
Yeah.
And I know now you claim the Astros because they've won more recently, but I know you got a little bit of Cardinals and Blues in you, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wear number 5 because of Pujols. I mean, I grew up loving them, but it's hard when you move to Houston. They're really bad, so I just fell in love with Altuve and that team. And then once the cheating thing came out, I was like, whatever, man. Like, if you're going to hate on him even more. And I didn't really jump on the bandwagon because when I moved there in 2012, they're the worst team in MLB in the National League still. But I still love my Cardinals, but mainly the big three as in Pujols, Wainwright, and Yachty.
And now it's going to be weird with no Yachty, no Pujols, right? My wife is wondering if Sister Jean is in the house tonight on the Loyola bench.
I don't think she's allowed to travel with age restrictions these days.
She didn't make the trip. She was famous during their Final Four run. I think she's like 102 years old now.
COVID's over, so there should be no excuse why she's not here.
I don't believe she made the trip, though. I didn't see her the other day. Jordan says you're going to have 6 rings by the time you leave.
That's the goal. I mean, you
got 2,
awesome.
right? But you want more than 6, probably.
Yeah, I think 12 would be the right guess. Would be a good number. What about 18? Get a couple like Sweet 16.
There you go. Folks are wanting you to come back post game now. They're liking your analysis so much. We'll have to get you on the NIL deal, man. We'll get you on the payroll.
I don't need to be paid by you, BJ. You're a good guy.
Appreciate that. You can see Boise State again warming up down there in the black uniforms. What do you make of this gym? It's obviously a smaller gym.
It's a shooter's gym.
Is it okay? Tell us about that.
I think it's smaller gym, better depth perception. We're getting used to these balls and being a Spalding. It's like an outdoor ball we're shooting with. But I think dudes are going to keen in today, and then they're going to knock down some shots. I'm looking over there. I'm seeing a bunch of swishes. Boom, there's Tyson. And I think we're going to be dialed in.
What if you could point to one thing in the first 3 games, or 1 and 2? Obviously, I know the South Dakota State game was a close 2-point loss. But if there was one thing to this point that you guys are focused on trying to be better in, what would that be?
I think communicating. In Washington State, we were really well communicated, and that's showed a case in our defense and scrapping. And Naj is going to be a big impact with communicating, and I think he's going to be a reason why we win this game today. And with him talking, it's getting all the guys grouped in. DeShaver's a lead by example guy. Naj is a lead by talking, lead by, hey, man, I'm a leader, I'm this and that. And I think that could really help us win this game if every dude's locked in on the court.
Someone's asking about Spalding balls. It is Spalding balls?
Yeah, it is a Spalding ball. It's a little old school. I think BJ's mic went out, so I'm now taking over right now. Yeah, so we're using Spalding balls. Yeah, BJ's mic cut out. He wasn't prepared for me to come on, I guess. Check. Yeah, so this is
there you go. I stepped on the cord and it popped out, so sorry about that. But you did a great job, man. Someone's asking about the different balls you guys use. I don't think a lot of fans realize that. When you go on the road, it's a different ball. Sometimes Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, now Spalding. How does that impact things?
If you're a good shooter, it won't really impact. But, we're across the country. What do we travel for, 14 hours? From Boise.
We did 2,500 miles.
Yeah, from Boise here. So, and then we're also not even, our shoot-arounds are not even in this gym. We're shooting around in a little old, not really janky, but it's a little old, dark, little AAU complex. And, that's a little different. But once dudes warm it up right here, it's a first game.
But are the balls different, like texture, different?
It feels like it. I'm not going to say it's that bad because I kind of like these balls. But it's definitely different than the Nike ball. No balls are the same. If you feel an NBA ball compared to a college ball, there's a complete difference in the texture and feeling to it.
So do you think all teams should just use the same ball?
Nah, contract-wise, it's a little impact. You got a little home. Like when you go to Colorado State, you're using the Under Armour ball.
You like that one or no?
Not really. I like our ball better. I'm a Nike guy,
What these preseason tournaments, is it fun to get out here and see some other teams and get here early and watch some other games? And you guys are in the hotel watching games on TV. What are these preseason tournaments like?
Preseason tournaments are fun because you get away from Boise and you get to go feel about a different environment, kind of getting ready for just getting the season underway. It's pretty cool to be in Myrtle Beach. Like Charleston last year was nice. I got buddies on Texas A&M. I got buddies on other teams here, so it's pretty cool to watch them play. And, if you're a hoops fan, can't go wrong with watching a bunch of hoops.
What do you make? We did just find out that you guys are making a little switch to the starting lineup tonight. Najee Smith's going to get a chance to get in there. What do you like? What do you like about Najee, man?
Yeah, I was about to break the news on accident like 30 minutes ago, but
I just got word that we're okay to talk about it now.
Right,
so
cool,
what do you make of Najee? Do you need to get in there, by the way, with the team to the locker room?
No, I don't.
Okay.
So, I think about Najee. Najee's a really, really good guy, and it translates to him on the court too, because he is a full-blown talkative leader that is just like, I want to win, I want to do this. And I think he's going to bring a lot of energy to our starting lineup, and I think he's going to bring a lot of positive impacts. If Najee's being Najee, it's going to be a good game for us.
What I mean, when you guys play small with him and Tyson, I mean, I know you guys are going to need the big guys to step up, but what have the when you guys play small, what do you guys like about that lineup?
I like it because it spreads the big out. They have two bigs that play, and it's going to spread them out to where you can't guard Tyson from the post. You have to guard him from all spots of the area of the court. And I think it's going to be very difficult to guard with Tyson's knocking down shots and Naj's being who he is. I think it's going to be a great game. It's going to be fun to watch. And I'm excited, and I hope we bring the energy. I mean, it starts with all 25 guys that travel with us, and I think everyone makes a really clearly impact on this game.
Folks are again more comments. They want to make you the co-host here, RJ. They're enjoying it. Najee bringing the energy and the swagger. Let's go, Najee. But in these tournaments, you need more than 5 guys anyway, right? Don't you need like 7, 8, 9, 10? I mean, it needs to be a team effort tonight.
Yeah, I mean, as you saw Leon, what did he play? 11 players last game, and I think he's getting comfortable with dudes he's trusting, and this is a great spot for people who haven't stepped up to make a good impact today. And when they get the opportunity, they're going to step in and be tough and come in and hopefully have a great game. I mean, Loyola, they're tough, man. They've been tough for, the last 5 years, 6 years. And their culture hasn't changed, and good thing our culture hasn't changed either.
What are the keys to victory tonight?
Ooh, keys of victory. I think keys of victory is guarding. And because Loyola, they're traditionally known for expect the unexpected. They could back cut you. They could come over a cross screen. They could DHO. You never know what's going to happen with Loyola. So the keys of victory is playing together, knock down shots, and communicate on defense.
They don't seem super big. Do they have any super big guys in the middle? Or I mean, they have a lot of good sized guards, but I don't see a ton of post players in there.
Yeah, they start a fresh. Not a freshman. They do start a freshman thing, but they start 2 big guys, and that's about it. And they're not that big. Now I'm looking at them. I mean, their point guard right there. He's not the biggest thing, but I think he's shooting 18% from 3, but he's a shooter.
What is this tough for you, knowing you could be out there helping?
I mean, yeah, it is tough, but mentally, and you just got to keen in on the most important things. And the most important things right now is rooting for your guys and helping them impact to win games. I mean, it's not about me. So, I mean, I know where I stand right now on this team, and my spot right now is to help these guys energy-wise, bring in little advice on the bench, tell them what they're seeing. Because every impact's going to matter. And I think my impact's going to help on the court next year. I think it's going to be pretty fun. I've been waiting for it's going to be 2 years. And I'm excited. I mean, I love Boise. There's nothing wrong about Boise to me at the moment, and I'm excited.
Well, hey, man, we appreciate your time. We got about 10 minutes till tip-off. We're going to get out of here in a couple of minutes, but we're getting a ton of great comments, man. We appreciate it.
Some Twitter questions.
Now that we'll have to set this up ahead of time where we can get some more comments. Now that we know, maybe we can make this maybe a monthly thing, or every couple of games try to do it again.
Hey, I'm free on the road and home games. I mean, I'm just sitting on the bench, just high-five, and
maybe the St. Louis game. We can maybe do it for the St. Louis game here in a couple of weeks, but we'll figure it out a time that we can do it. But we appreciate your time as always, man. Sweet. Keep the energy on the bench, keep guys up, and hopefully, hey, if you win tonight, I guess we got to do it on Sunday, right? I mean, if you win, we got to make it a thing here.
For sure. If we win, you'll see me an hour before tip-off here on the BNN.
Appreciate it, man.
Yep,
as always, RJ Keene, great guy. We appreciate him coming on, and he'll be on the bench. You'll see him going crazy, and you'll see him out there on the court next year making an impact. Thanks, man.
Yep, thanks, BJ.
Hey, a couple of our great sponsors. We want to thank the blueandorangestore.com. Check them out. $40 any order. You get free shipping on any order over $40. The blueandorangestore.com. Make sure you go check out the Blue and Orange Store. Ridley's Family Market, shopridleys.com. 13 Idaho locations. You can get a location near you at shopridleys.com. They got the at-home shopping, the Skip app, the home delivery, all that great stuff. You can check them out at Ridley's Family Markets. We thank United Commercial Insurance as well. 229-8222, UnitedCommercialInsurance.com. Make sure you check them out. They make business insurance easy. If you're looking for to lower your business policy insurance, make sure you check them out. They can help you out. 44 states around the country, they can lower your business insurance rate. So check them out, UnitedCommercialInsurance.com. Boise Dentistry Co. as well. Locations from Mountain Home to Caldwell and everywhere in between. 906-1225. Check them out. BoiseDentistryCo.com. My kids, my wife, myself, we all go to Boise Dentistry Co. We are happy customers, so make sure you check them out, and you will not be disappointed. Full family dentistry at Boise Dentistry Co. If you're looking for a new job, how about becoming a truck driver? Transcomservice.com. They can help you every step of the way. You can drive that big rig on the screen or the Amazon truck in your neighborhood or any truck in between. They can help you out. Transportation compliance service. They help you with all the permits, all the forms you need. They'll take care of everything for you, and you'll be ready to go. Transcomservice.com. Make sure you check them out. Bauscher Real Estate will be giving away the Bauscher Real Estate Player of the Game after the game tonight, so make sure you come back on the post-game show. The number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley, Matt Bauscher. You can get more information at BauscherRealEstate.com. Timberstone Golf Course, by the way, they've got an NIL deal with RJ Keene, and they're a great spot. They've got the simulators and things going on in the wintertime, so make sure you check out Timberstone Golf Course. Even if you're thinking it's a little cold outside, they've still got the NIL deals and things going on in the off season. So, or the what do you call it? The simulators. My bad. The simulators and things like that. They've got them going on in the off season. You can check out the simulators and all the great stuff they have there at Timberstone Golf Course. So we are here courtside. BJ Rains with you. We appreciate RJ Keene for coming on. This is the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show. Idaho Central Credit Union sponsoring our road trip coverage, getting us on the air here, helping us with our travel expenses. Of course, rowpaint.com is our title sponsor as well. So this is a big game for Boise State. We got 7 minutes on the clock. We're getting ready to start the game. I mean, this is a monster game coming up. We had some good comments for RJ Keene, BJ and RJ show. We'll have to see. I don't know if we can make an NIL deal and pay him or just get him on every once in a while. But that was a great stuff from RJ Keene. And you see Boise State getting ready to take the floor here. They're wearing the black uniforms tonight. It'll be the black uniforms. The crowd making some noise as the Boise State Broncos take the floor here for this one. And again, this is just a huge game for Boise State. You're playing a quality opponent. You got a chance, obviously, to get a big win, and then you can worry about Sunday on Sunday. But when you came to this tournament, you wanted to win 2 games and you wanted to win 2 quality games. You still have a chance to do that. You have a chance to beat a Loyola-Chicago team that you thought you were going to play in the semifinals. You're still playing them. It's just on the other side of the bracket. And then obviously you've got a chance as well in the whatever, I guess, 5th place game on Sunday. But want to see more from Lucas Milner. Want to see more from Mo Silla. Boise State is going small to start the game. Najee Smith getting the start. I think it might be his first career start. We're going to look into that and see, but I think it might be the first career start for Najee Smith. It's for sure his first start this season. But you got Boise State again in the black jerseys, getting ready for this one. We got Perry saying, "Go Broncos." Nick Big Wade, I like the black uniforms. No more all orange. That jinxes. Although they've done pretty good, actually, in the orange uniforms for the most part. Great show. We appreciate that. Go Broncos. But, having a lot of fun here. We're at the HTC Center in Myrtle Beach. We got 6 minutes on the clock. Again, thank you to rowpaint.com, our title sponsor, Idaho Central Credit Union, for helping us with our road trip coverage. And, of course, Lithia Ford of Boise for sponsoring our pre- and post-game shows. Again, about 5 minutes after the game ends, we will be back with the post-game show. Come on back right here on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, Ronald Dorn, go ahead, switch over to YouTube. That's a better spot for us. So switch over to YouTube. We'd love to have you there. Make sure you're subscribing onto that YouTube channel. You never know what's happening with Twitter or any of that kind of stuff. So subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's the best way to make sure you don't miss any of our broadcasts. If you're on Twitter, we can't take your comments on Twitter. You got to switch over to YouTube. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the pregame show. If you're enjoying what you like, we have exclusive shows like BNN After Dark with former Boise State players telling stories about the good old days on Wednesdays. We got exclusive content as well. All that stuff is for subscribers only. You can subscribe for $6.99 a month or $70 for a yearly subscription. We do have a cool deal we're going to start here in the next couple of weeks for subscriptions, so stay ready for that. But again, Boise State, they're 1-2, but they could get things going again tonight, get back on track, and this could be the start of a nice streak here for Boise State. Remember, they were 3-4 last year and got it going. They're only 1-2, folks. It's early. It's a long season. There's a lot of time still left here. So, stay positive if you're a Boise State fan. And obviously a win tonight would be a big one. You see Loyola-Chicago taking the floor. We'll go ahead and end this thing. We appreciate everybody for checking us out. Thank you so much to all of you for your support of Bronco Nation News, for watching the pregame show. Thanks to Leon Rice for the interview. Thanks to Abe Jackson. Thanks to RJ Keene. We'll try to make that a little more of a regular thing. The game is on ESPN Plus in about 3 minutes. So switch on over to ESPN Plus on the app. And then come on back post-game. We'll be here post-game about 5-10 minutes after the game with Coach Rice and some players live here at the table. We'll have analysis, all kinds of insight, and most importantly, we'll take your comments and your questions after the game. So thanks again for checking us out. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com, the only local media outlet to make the trip here to Myrtle Beach, and we're proud of that and proud to bring you this coverage. So thank you so much for watching the show. It truly does mean a lot to us. Enjoy the game. Hopefully we're talking about a Boise State win after the game. I know that would be exciting for all of us, and we'll see what happens. But Boise State, Loyola-Chicago coming up in about 3 minutes. We'll talk to you after the game. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com.